Book 101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's amazing race winner, creator and host of Amazon Prime's The College Tour, none other than Mr. Alex Boylan.
Good to be here. How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm fabulous, fabulous, Mr. Alex. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
No, I mean those are some of the key highlights. But as you have the book up here right now, and what we're hopefully talking about, yeah, I've been blessed. As a my father was a preacher, born on the North Shore of Boston, and I've been able to go on and film in probably 60 countries around the world, different TV shows, and have pretty epic life. And so I figured with the currently with the success of the college tour, I'm speaking to a lot of college students every single week, and I figured I should probably get my story down on paper, and really try to inspire them, teach them the life lessons that I learned along the way, the ups, the downs, the twists and turns, and just get it all down to hopefully inspire the next generation to go get it.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world for our generations to generations to come. The miles that make you. What it's all about.
Well, as I just mentioned, I mean, the miles that make you is really the story of my life. I would say 90% of the book is a memoir, and it takes you from my humble beginnings growing up on the North Shore of Boston, to really a critical thing that happened when I was around the age of 15, moved to the country of Brazil, and just what that journey looked like back in in the 90s. And what that world opened up for me, and from confidence to perspective to seeing the world, and that, and so I take the audience from living in Brazil to living in Germany, where had a quite the experience as an internship in college, to somewhat being lost after college, finding myself down in the Caribbean, to then, of course, everyone knows winning the Amazing Race and the many different pieces that come after the Amazing Race, and most recently to the college tour. And I wrapped the book up with a kind of a chapter to my son that's really a synopsis of what of my advice is. If I could do it all over again, or what the nuggets of information that I've learned along my journey on this planet, what I think they need to take along. And that's just really a metaphor for every young person out there. There's a big world out there. There's a lot of life to be led, and I think there's lots of lessons in this book of just it's raising your hand, saying yes, taking some chances, getting outside your comfort zone. So I talk a lot about that through my journey on this planet.
Yes, say yes, people, say yes. Not knowing, no, 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 just say yes. So, reframe life is an epic journey. How does this perspective differ from simply setting and achieving goals? What does it add in terms of meaning, mindset, how interpret setbacks?
Well, I think a lot of life, and at least if I talk from my own perspective, a lot of it has to do with experience. And I think, and that's why I really designed this book. I mean, I've had people in their 70s, 80s read this book and be like, "Oh man, like what I'm getting out of this." But as I talk about how I really wanted to inspire the next generation, to me, what I want them to get out of this is you're not supposed to have it all figured out. It starts with one thing. If there's anything my life can tell you, it's not like I just walked on and one amazing race and voila, my life, was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. There was many pieces of that puzzle that led up to the point of the amazing race. And as I just shared with you, one of my biggest life lessons that I try to tell them, the mindset shifts that I tell young people, it starts with raising your hand. And I'm not saying it works for everyone, but for me, I'm a yes guy. I was always up for the adventure. I was always saying yes to opportunities, and those small opportunities start building on yourselves. And so I talk about it in the book. When you move to the country of Brazil at the age of 15 by yourself, you'll learn a lot. And then when you move to the country and I was scared. I talk about what it was like, walking to soccer practice through favelas every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when I got this opportunity in Germany, I was also scared. How am I going to make it in the corporate world? What do I know about business, right? And I talk about being scared. I think that especially young people should know and understand that's a normal feeling to have out there, and
Yes.
all those little building blocks to the point where, by the time the Amazing Race came, I wasn't nervous. I'd already lived in multiple different countries, but it started by saying yes at a young age. And it's been an amazing journey for me to, just share these stories.
Yes, people say yes and take the risk. Now, Lucas, Mr. Alex Boylan. Every epic has a reluctant hero, trials, and allies. How can we identify our own call to adventure in a daily life, and what makes an ordinary life feel epic?
That's a great question. How do you? I think it starts with are you in the flow state? Do you wake
Mhm.
up being happy? Let's just start there. And if it's not, start making some. And I don't think you need to make some macro big picture decision in one day. Usually change doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen with today I'm packing up and I hate my life in Boston and I'm going to move down here. It usually doesn't work like that, right? So to me, my advice on a daily basis is what's that one thing? If you're not if you're asking the question if someone's not happy and they're trying to figure out how to get that mojo and how to get that flow state going, I'd start with one incremental move. And usually I'm a big fan. I'm a big surfer and I'm a big active person. And I would say, get outside and walk in the woods, do something different. If you keep doing the same thing and, over and over, you're going to keep having the same results, keep being the same person. So try something new, do something different. We live in an amazing age of time where you can have access to information, education, collaboration with people around the world. So, yeah, I would say, what is the one small thing you can do today that will put a smile on your face, give a little extra kick in your step? That would be my probably advice.
Definitely. An epic journey needs a map, but not a rigid itinerary. What does a flexible, resilient life map look like in your framework? How do we plot direction while remaining open to serendipity and detours?
Well, life has been, for at least for me, one big detour. And I think to me, that's turned into success because I got used to, one of the main pieces of my book, it's one of the chapters, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Right. And so even going
hmm
back to the last question, that's a big piece of advice I would say to anyone. Because if you can be uncomfortable, then you can start changing it up. Then you can start. So for me, it's not like I don't have some map that hey, this is where I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't have a 10-year plan. I talk about in the book, I don't have a life plan, right? What I do is I chase opportunity. I chase things that get me excited to get out of the bed every day. And by the way, that can change. That's why I've probably lived in so many different countries around the world and I've done so many different things is
hmm
because, I definitely have a wanderlust spirit. I definitely can tend to get bored easily. I love challenges, love adventure. So I think all those things wrapped up into. So to me, I always tell me, it's not like I'm sitting here with some master plan. No, what do I do? It's what's going to put a smile on my face today, right? And
yes.
usually, whether it's a place, it's a thing to do. If I wake up thinking about something, or if I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something, there's a reason why it's on my mind. So it's something I need to get out of my life. It's something I need to add to my life. It's something I need to change. And so to me, I think that's the intuition in each one of us. And I think the more you can, lean in and think about that. And if there's anything I would suggest, if you're having a tough time out there and trying to figure it out, take 11 minutes a day and meditate. I grew up with a
Yes.
preacher as a dad and the power of prayer, but a monk. I was living in Thailand, said to me one day, prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening to God. And sometimes we need to just pause and listen, and the answers will be in front of us. But once again, I'm not a super heady person. I've been chasing adventure, Daniel.
Mhm.
I've enjoyed life, and I know the power of saying yes and where that can take you.
Yes, people enjoy life because life is too short. All journeys have weight. So, how do we decide what baggage to shed and what essential supplies?
Well, certain baggage, depending on where you are, you can't get rid of it. Let's be
You're
honest,
still there.
right? I mean, there might be
Mm.
some decisions that you made or places that you're at that you can't. And I would try to say, But lean into what makes you smile, lean into what brings you joy, lean into what gets you excited. And, I always say if I'm thinking about something and I'm working on something at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, that's a good sign. If I'm waking up first thing in the morning, can't wait to whatever. And that could be anything for anyone. That could be they're planning a vacation, they're planning to move across the country, maybe changing a job, maybe changing a relationship. I don't know, right? But to me, if you're waking up thinking about it, it's time to make that move. And so I hope that answers the question.
Certainly. A key part of an epic is an allies and guides we meet. How can we be more international or intentional about seeking mentors, building a fellowship, or recognizing the wisdom of unexpected teachers?
Well, one of the things I talk about in the book for young people, because I have this workshop that I do a lot with young people. I've done it with thousands of young people,
Hmm.
and um, the power. And I'll use college students because a big thing for me, as you can see back here, I'm the creator and the host of the College Tour TV series, 16 seasons on Amazon Prime. So I'm a huge fan of trying to inspire that demographic. And I will just tell them one thing. That is the time when you are young to start building relationships. It is a lot harder. I think you talk to any adult, it only becomes, hopefully you're in the right era of life and or right job or place that you can build those relationships. But the one place you can build relationships very easily is while you're young and while you're a student, because everyone who's older understands what it's like to be young. And so I always try to tell these college students, hey, man, you have a superpower, and that superpower, being a college student, goes away the day you graduate. Not everyone cares about a college graduate, but they love a college student. And with the power of LinkedIn and the right messaging to any professional out there, if you ask them if you're a college student and you reach out and say, hey, I love what you have done in your career and I'm looking for some guidance or mentor, could you give me 10 minutes of your time? You will be amazed at the doors that will open just because you're a college student. And people, you're not a threat, you're not asking for a job. And so, in my humble opinion, college students are as a map to build relationships. And that's the key to getting the dream career and getting on the right track. And those doors shut. If a college graduate reaches out to me, am I going to answer that email? It's like, oh, they're probably asking for a job. They need this. I don't want to talk to that person. I don't have a job for them, right? But if it's a college student just asking for advice, you're probably like, yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, what do you need? I'm happy to share my advice. And so that's why I always say, college students, they have a superpower and they need to tap into that. And I'd say it's probably the biggest thing that is missed of most graduates. Most of them wait till the day they graduate, and then they start knocking on doors, being like, here, can I get a job? And it's too late to build relationships then. You need to start while you're in college. That's the time you're not a threat. You're not asking for anything. You're just trying to get people's advice. And that's a great way to build relationships. So I would start young. The key is start young.
Start young and say to yourself, I have a superpower. Indeed. So let's talk about the swamps and deserts, the periods of boredom, stagnation, and sheer endurance. How do you navigate these necessary but unglamorous miles without losing heart?
Are you saying what's the question again? How do you get over boredom?
Yes, and stagnation and sheer endurance. How do you
What?
navigate them?
Yeah, do something different. If you're bored and you've been doing the same thing every day, get up. I mean, there are so many. We are so blessed to live on a planet that's living and breathing and has so much to offer us. It's like so. Yeah, and I think it goes back to a lot of your past questions. Of I'm not a therapist, but if you're wake up, do something different, go hike a mountain, walk down the street, go to a restaurant you've never been to, right? Call a friend you haven't talked to in a while. There's so
Mhm.
many different ways to just tap into, feeling alive, doing something different.
Failures and wrong terms, Mr. Alex, are inevitable on any long journey. How does your book refrain this not as just a reason to quit, but as a critical plot twisting and data points on our map?
Yeah, it is inevitable that anyone who's done anything cool in life failed. um,
Mm.
and I'll tell a quick little story, and I hope this resonates with your audience because failure sometimes just leads you, and it's in big part of my book. Failure just leads you into the corrective place of where you're supposed to be. So don't be scared of failing. Failing's a good thing. Failing means like that didn't work, right? And so your goal is to we want to find a flow state where you are waking up and you're happy and you're inspired and all this. Well, after college for me, I was a business student. I took a job that was going to pay me the most money. I moved back to Boston. I sat in my cubicle, was about to crunch numbers as a marketing analyst. I hated my job, Daniel. I hated it. Hated every
Mm.
part about it. And then I was going to go get I got this cool opportunity. I was going to go down and get my master's. Well, I quit my job and then I lost my scholarship to go get my master's degree. So basically everything fell apart in life. And there was this island down in the Caribbean that I've always dreamed of going one day. And I literally grabbed my bags. I had $2,000 debt on a credit card. So I'm running everything on a credit card. I'm going to go down here in 10 bar. Whatever I'm doing right now is not working. Okay. And
Mhm.
actually, there's three things that happened. I had gotten rejected from Survivor. I'd lost my job and I lost my scholarship. So three kind of like bam, 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 all in a row, all within a matter of 2 weeks. And I was like, you know what? The universe is telling me something. So I packed my bag. I end up in the island of St. John. I got no place to stay. I'm going to go down there and figure it out. Well, I spent a year down in St. John recalibrating my life and everything started working. Like one side of the equation, I had no money. Now I'm tending bar, making tons of money, living in paradise in this island. And that goes to show what can happen when, and that it was right after living in the Caribbean that the Amazing Race calls. And I get on the Amazing Race and win the Amazing Race and become like one of the biggest things I've done in my career. Amazing Race probably would never have happened if I didn't have all those failures and get redirected down to the Caribbean. Does that make sense? So I think you got to lean into failure. Don't be scared of failure. But listen, if the universe is telling you, whether it's a job, whether it's a partner in life, whatever it is that's not working out, listen, we're all going to die. You might as well change it up. Try to find where you're going to go in life.
Yes, it happened for a reason. People, go, 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 and don't afraid to commit failures, mistakes. They are the process to make you better. So, how we do balance ambition and drive, appreciation for the current mile we are on.
Well, I think that, like, I got to tell you, I was really bad at that question that you just asked me when I was young. Like, I just wanted
Mhm.
everything to happen now, and if it wasn't perfect, I was upset. And I think, it's where wisdom comes into life. I don't know how to answer it to everyone, but for me now, there are, I think I handle the tougher times, the challenges, the times to pivot a lot easier, and just know that life is a journey and the moment you're in right now is probably teaching you a lesson. Try to smile through it, enjoy it. And if you can, one of the things, it's a kind of a military term, but if you can kind of embrace the suck sometimes, to me that's a big part of life, because it ain't always going to be roses. So I mean, this book talks about some of the epic journeys that I entail. I don't have enough time, or I don't even know how to write it. These long periods of time where I was lost and what was going to happen here and what should I do? And I wish now I could tell my younger self, just chill. You know what I mean? Keep
Mm.
taking a step forward. I think that's the thing. Stay positive and keep taking steps in the right direction, and you'll get on the right path.
Mhm. Definitely. So, in an epic, the hero is transformed. How do we measure our own growth along the way? What are the signs we are being made by the miles, not just worn down by them?
It's a great question. And I never really thought about, like, I've never tried to analyze my life like that. And I think that's maybe why accomplished a lot, done a lot, because I never really tried to, like, put up, oh, look at all these things you've done. Because I think as soon as you start kind of patting yourself on the back or start being like, oh, what it is, as soon as you start dying, you know what I mean? Like to me, and it could just be my journey on this planet. Like, I am as hungry today as I was back in my teens and 20s, and as excited as I am to try to go try a new business, go to a new location. So to me, and that could be decades of feeding who I am as a person and trying to get to where I'm going, but I never really analyze. At least for me, even this book, Daniel, like this book is like very recent. Someone asked me about it the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I wrote a book. You know what I mean? Like I'm already on to the next thing. Does that make sense? And so I don't even know how to. I don't try to measure success. I mean, I think that there's, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 to 10 years. So I will say at the end of the day, you know, slow and steady wins the race. I don't know where everyone's trying to go, but for me, a big piece that I chase, and I'm very fortunate with the college tour. I love traveling. I've been doing travel shows my entire life. And so even with the college tour, I'm on 50 college campuses a year. That's still feeding my soul. And if that college tour was gone, taken from me, that hurt. And it does. In the
Mhm.
world of television, things are hot one second, not the next. And I would just go back to the basics of what can I build that makes me happy and gets me fired up to show up every day. And so I think that's the key for your audience is what gets you fired up, right? And go
Mhm.
chase that.
Chase it, people, and you will be successful like Mr. Alex Boylan. The end of the journey is the beginning of another. How do we know when to plant a flag and settle a valley versus when to pack up and head for the next horizon?
It's a good question. Because it's almost like in business, it's like, when do you know? And this is, I think, one of the hardest things to do in life. And let's say
Yes.
I'm going to use business as an example. I'm kind of like a serial entrepreneur, right? Always starting things.
Okay.
How do you know that this idea is, or the path that you're on is the right path, or it's going to work, or it's not, and you got to maybe pivot? That's a great question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably one of the hardest things that I don't know if anyone has the answer to this, Daniel, because I don't think anyone can. As soon as you can predict the future, that's the only way to really know. But it's something that I have toured with my whole life. There was a business I ran that probably should have been shut down in the first year, and I worked hard on it for 5 years. It really, where it was like, the business was broken, right? And I think everyone can talk about this, from relationships to jobs to all these things. And so as soon as someone can tell the future, then I think they can answer that question for you, Daniel. But I think that's the tough call. But I don't know. For me, I would say there's two things, and not to. It's like, if I'm working on something that's providing for me and my family, okay, cool, that's a check. And is it inspiring me? Am I fired up? Those are like really the only two checks that I'm looking for, right? When I'm attacking something. I think maybe that's good for your audience. Like, what are your core things you need to be happy, right? And to maintain. So for me, it's two things. Am I providing enough resources that my family can, be provided for? And am I excited? Right. And those two are not easy to get. They're not. Tell everyone out there, that is not easy to find. But I
Mhm.
chase that really hard. So I would say, like, if I woke up and, hey, this thing is not providing for my family, right? It's not, you know what I mean? I can't do it anymore. It's like it's too big of a value for me that's important right now. Or if it's providing for the family and I'm miserable, it's like, man, I'm almost 50, Daniel. It's like, life's short. I can't be like, there's no point. There's no point of going through life miserable. So I think for me, it's like, those are the two checkpoints that I'm looking. That's mine. So I think maybe everyone out there, write down, what are your top core things that you need, and make them small, make them short. You know what I mean? Don't you, like, these big lists that people make? It's like, oh my gosh, how are you going to follow that? Make it, it's like Tim Ferriss used to say, if you wake up in the day, you should only be doing four things. Like, write down four things you want to do that day. If you just do those four things, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish and where you can go. So many people, like, just, can wake up and I want to do 1,000 things. No point. Just, slow and steady.
A great journey makes a great story, Mr. Alex. How does sharing our journey, the trials and triumph with the others, become a part of our healing, meaning making, and a legacy process, just like yours?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I say, I mean, like, I wrote this book to inspire young people. There's people, and I write about them all in the book, that got me. I'm not here by myself, Daniel. There's so many people in this book that if they didn't pick, they're older than me and they picked me up and shared their thoughts, their journeys, and helped me along the way, I wouldn't be where I am. I talk about them all in this book. And for me now, I'm kind of in that place in life where it's my job to tell my story so the next generation can learn from it, be inspired by it. Um, and so it's this is like the history of mankind, right? It's been passing down what happened during this time period, what happened, whether it's a person or it's a civilization, is sharing. It is so important for us to share those journeys. And I think, one of the things I'm proud about with this book, I don't just tell the good things. I mean, I tell about when, oh my gosh, this isn't working out, or this failure, or where I was scared over here. And I think we all need to hear that because we understand that life ain't easy, you know?
Yes, definitely. Yes. So, to wrap our discussion for today, Mr. Alex, to send our listeners off inspired, if the purpose is to make life an epic journey, what is the one piece of guidance or permission you'd give someone to take their first intentional step of the well worn path today?
Okay, very simple. And it's kind of a mix between two things I've talked about a lot here: raising your hand and getting comfortable being uncomfortable. The next thing that you kind of like perk up about, whether it's and this could be small, from going to a new restaurant to, I don't know what it is, some adventure on the other side of the planet, something that makes you a little scared, but you kind of like it, go do it. Because to me, it's that repetition over and over and over that makes you bolder, that gets you excited, and you'll be amazed at where life can go. But that doesn't usually happen overnight. Most people do get into a rigid rhythm of life and just stay stuck in that. And so to me, it's like it could just be, oh man, on the other side of my city, there's this crazy place that something happens at midnight. I'm going to go to it because I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared. Like if it's a little scared, it's a little uncomfortable. That's where you want to lean into. That's going to take you. If you can find that balance and lean into that little discomfort, but at the same time excites you, oh man, buckle up, because then you'll just keep chasing that feeling.
Mr. Alex Boylan, thank you again for sharing your legacy to the world. Hoping for more and more empowering books like this to rise. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or any projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Love people to get the book. If you can buy that on Amazon, go to alexboylan.com for any young kids. I got courses and all stuff there. And then of course, for anyone trying to figure out where to go to school in the United States, thecollegetour.com is your place for all of that. So thank you for that, Daniel.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Alex Boylan, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering legacy will rise. And one more question, Mr. Alex, how can we apply this epic journey lens to our careers and relationships? That is change how we view a job, a long-term partnership, or a parenting.
Yeah, that's a lot, Daniel. I would say it goes back to my smile more, have some
Mm,
fun more, don't take yourself too seriously, is what I
mm.
would say. But at the same time, that feeling you get when you're excited but a little nervous, I think that's a beautiful place to be in life. And I don't think there's anyone out there that's like, when you're a little nervous and you're a little excited, there's something special that happens there. You should find what that is for you. You should go chase that. I don't care if that's in your work, that's in your love life, that's in career, that's in a hobby. There's a magic when you can bring those two together. And it's
Yes.
just like a habit, just like anything else. You got to practice it. It's not going to happen if you don't do it. If you don't act on it, you won't. You won't get there.
Yes, people, get outside to your comfort zone and do it. Just do it. So, Mr. Alex, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Monica, people, see you soon.